Okay, so this is a lambda, which we'll get into lambdas at some point in the future. It's to if you get into lambdas, it's the kind of thing you have to spend a little while on because they're a bit complicated. But what this will do is it will basically check if the string value is equal to any of the names. So this way, we're basically saying, instead of doing this whole try catch, checking for the illegal argument exception, which isn't working, what we'll do is we'll do an if statement with that boolean, and then if it's contained, we'll try to get the value of the enum, and otherwise we'll just say it's none.
This here.
Yes,
If
there. So we can get. Oh, so first of all, like the reason why I'm because this code is a little bit confusing with lambdas. We don't understand it so well right now. What I'm doing is I'm naming a boolean so we understand what it's doing. So we should put this on a separate line, and then use the result boolean to do the if statement.
Okay.
It's just a way it makes the code read itself. You don't have to figure out what it's doing because you can read what the boolean is named, and then you can figure out, yeah. So if is valid country enum. Then we try to get the value of, yeah. So line 71.
Try?
Pardon?
Do I have to leave try?
Yeah, you can get rid of try. We're not worrying with try anymore, no. How well do you understand the whole concept of a try catch?
I don't know.
Okay.
If I understand it correctly.
Okay, well, I'll try to include that in the future to give you a better understanding, but I think they're very important.
But why? What's wrong with country?
Oh, I'm not sure. What have you? It might already be defined. You might have to change it to something else.
Country.
Yeah, it's already defined, so you'll have to call it. If you press Shift F6, you can rename that instance of country.
Shift
F6.
Shift.
So what this does is IntelliJ will find anything in scope, and then it will change that value. So let's just change this to C or some country. We can't call it country because country's already been used. So current country would also work. So Shift F6, and then just type current country. So you see it's automatically changing the other value.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Do you think it will work?
No, we need to... Yes, no, okay, it's already defined as null, so yeah, this should be fine. There you go.
Yes.
Well, it's actually the wrong way around now, because now it's when it can be found, rather than when it can't be found. Because you've still got the log messages, so if you close the console and look at the if statement, you see you've got the error log messages inside of when it is valid. So if you see lines 71 and 72, we can actually get rid of those log messages.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. I will do it later.
Yes, okay.
I will work with it to understand.
Cool. So,
okay, let's move further.
Yes.
File Spring Boot.
Yes, okay, so how's it going with Spring Boot? So the reason I wanted to sort of give you the basics of Spring Boot is because I saw in that application you were working with Spring Boot without kind of understanding how to set up the fundamentals. So that's why I wanted to go through and you build something from Spring Boot from scratch, if that makes sense.
Okay. Do you want to do that now? Then I'll record our talk.
Pardon?
Do you want to do it now?
Sure, it seems like a good time to do it. I'm happy to do it if you are.
Okay, and then I would like to record your explanation. Okay, can I record it in Skype?
Yes, I'm recording now.
Record.
I'm recording this now, so I'll upload this. If you want to record it as well, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay, so Would you like me to clone the app, or would you like me to look at it on your screen?
As you prefer. I think I don't know.
Okay, let me get up.
As you prefer. You can decide.
I might do both if that's the case. So let me just quickly clone it.
Mm-hmm.
Should take this down because. CSV processing Spring Boot, that's the one. Okay, it's just loading up now. Spring Boot server.
And sorry to interrupt. If you clone my project, I think that I'd better stop sharing the screen, and you will share your screen.
No, that's
Yes?
that's fine. I'm actually seeing an issue here with the clone, so I'm just going to manually kind of download this quickly.
Okay.
Folder. Okay, let me open this up quickly. Yeah, sometimes when I clone your projects, I'm not sure why. Oh, here we go. It's finally loaded. Okay, we're all fine. Let me get this up. Okay, I will start sharing my screen. This will probably be easier for your internet as well if you record, like your computer, if you're recording and sharing. So, how do I share and?
Bottom right.
So share screen. Sorry, that's usually the copy logo. Skype seems to be a little bit out of date. Okay. The copy to clipboard. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's have a look here. So, Spring Boot server. Okay, good. This is what I would expect to see. Let's start with this. I assume this is just going to be, boot Spring Boot application. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so how much of this do you? So do you know why we have this here? Like, do you know what these do?
I think yes.
Okay, so do you want to explain that quickly?
This is REST controller, and it processes all the data which appear in this folder. Companies.
Yeah, with companies. Okay, so that's good. But I'm actually seeing something here. So when we put this here, we can actually. So let me just give an example. So right now, we're using the prefix / so it would look like HTTP / localhost. I assume your port's 8000 or 8080.
It's default for Spring Boot.
Yes. Okay. So I think that's 8080.
And companies is
and then,
added
but,
to it.
so we see what we have / companies here, right? So we add / companies, right? Like so. But we also then, on each of these, we also have / companies here. So then it would look like this, right? So
yes.
yeah, so we don't need this here basically, because we've already declared that, so we can go through and just sort of. We actually don't even need this / because we've got a / afterwards, so it would just look like. But
Yes.
the other thing is this is okay, but kind of the issue is if we're doing a GET request, right? So let's say I'm doing a GET request, and let's say I want to add a GET request in the future. That's this could work fine, and I'm just saying for the future, and I know this might be how I specified it, but just so you're aware in case this issue comes up. So when I have only a path variable like company name, and I assume you know this, but this would look like, so if I was to do localhost 8080 companies, and then this is a GET request, right? Company name 1, right? This would then, that company name 1 would then be assigned to this, and it'll be used here. But the issue is, if I then want to add another GET mapping with something like, status, right? So it's just getting the status, it doesn't use a path variable. The issue is now, it's very difficult to read in terms of like when I do localhost 8080/company/status, it's kind of confusing because now it might think that it's like, okay, is the company name status? Or are you trying to get the status endpoint? So that's just something to be aware of, and I think right now it's fine because this is something called a RESTful sort of HTTP where we use these GET methods and then the resource name to, but I can go into further detail, but yeah, okay, so that all seems to be okay. So company service to get company, and then post request mapping. Yep, that's fine. You can also do here you have get mapping, you also have post mapping, and then we can just get rid of that. So that's a little bit shorter. You don't have to do that, obviously. It's on what you prefer, but that's just another way of doing it. Put update company. Yep. And then delete company. Cool. So that all seems fine to me. You can make this final as well, I think. The auto. This is all very good. Were you looking at the example I sent you?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is very much like, right now, I wouldn't be able to tell if this was written by someone who just started Spring Boot or someone who's using Spring Boot for a long time, generally, because this is what it looks like. This is like the template for a controller. It's like, so well done on that. Let's look into the service. Get company list. Let me have a look up here. List binding company. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the. So, do you know what a DAO is?
I took it from some example and don't remember from which. I was looking for this example today, but I decided to leave it.
Yeah, because it might have been the example I sent you from a previous project. But in this example, so a DAO. A DAO is a. Oh, oops.
Yeah,
that you know.
No, I knew, but
oh,
no.
Okay. So
some data object.
Data access object.
Access object.
Yeah, and we use DAOs to basically handle DB, DB
when
fetching.
we work with database.
Yes. So in this example, we're not actually interacting with a DB.
But I think that we will add it. No.
Yes. Okay. So that's fine if you want to do that now. That's completely fine. So I don't
I
know.
would like to.
I'm unfamiliar with this list binding and observable list and compute value, all of this stuff. Like this is a little bit new to me, but so I'm not certain how we're using this, but I'm just going to look here and private string company name get company. Okay, so this right now this is storing one company. Oh, I see. So this isn't really what I would expect. So the DAO doesn't hold the state of any particular company. A DAO is usually stateless, so it doesn't have any like fields that deal with, the actual company name and. So what I would expect, is if I go to here and then I create a new Java class, I would expect to have a new class called company. And let me just quickly write this out. What's the other field? Country. Okay, so then what I would expect here is if we're not using a database, and I know we're not persisting this right now, so what I mean by persisting is if we shut the program down then we lose all of our data. But that's okay for now because we're just doing testing. So what I would have expected is more of a kind of list of company, and private companies. And then what I would expect is when we were calling something like in the service, like add company, is the kind of thing you're doing here with this company list, right? So a DAO is more like a service object, and in which you kind of access the database. So I would replace these sort of DAO with company, right?
So if you had a DAO, then the list would be saved in it, not in the service.
Yeah, so generally the list isn't actually saved in the DAO, but what would usually happen is we would have something like, I'll just give you an example here. So we'd have like an item like private static session. I'm just going to leave that blank for now. But then you could do something like get company. You could do session.get company. Get, and then you provide the this is getting a bit complicated, but what you would be doing is when you call this, you're actually asking the database to get a company, right? So
I think that now we'll decide to rename company DAO to company.
yes, okay, so we can we can rename company DAO and then include the list in service like you're doing. So let me actually just delete company here.
And then we will return to databases, and I would like to.
Yes, we can get into databases. This is kind of my goal. Is I want you to like have this Spring Boot project and sort of continually work on it and keep building it yourself and building it bigger and bigger. Because I know this is what you wanted to do, is basically work with Spring Boot, and I want you to have an example on your GitHub of a Spring Boot project where you have everything done. You have all the different dimensions of a Spring Boot project. And I think that would look really good. And it also gives you some really good experience into, actually using Spring Boot.
Okay, thank you. And what about log problem?
Oh, I sent you that. Did you read my email on that? I told you how to fix that one.
Today, no. I think email.
Yeah.
Yes, I received your email, but it didn't help. It was not today, yes?
It was yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday. It didn't help me.
In what sense did it not help you?
I will show you. Where is my log?
I don't know how to use this exact library. So logging is, you can use logging if you want. Did I specify to use logging?
I would like to learn to.
Yeah, no, okay, I think that's good. I was just wondering. That's yeah. So I think we should start with just some simple logging. I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Like. I have added this input, but I still have this problem.
Which is, when you say this problem, what do you mean? Because when I look at the code, logger is now being recognized. So I can type logger, and I see that logger is there. It's exists as an item, right?
Probably.
Okay, so
logger exists, but get logger is not recognized.
Yes. Well, so for example, what I'll do is, what I would do here is, again, I'm.
And if you see log error, it works, but get logger doesn't work.
Okay, so I'm not sure about the sort of the API of this exact library. But we can look into setup logger example, and then see how other people do it for this library, the one we've imported. So.
Okay.
Example 2, get logger. Where is he calling this from? Test. These are not good examples. Core logger. Log.info. I can actually just look at one of my projects. Maybe that would be easier. It's a private project, so I'll have to do it off screen. But I can get you the example of how I set my logging up.
Okay. But I copied this log from your project.
Which project?
From your?
Yeah, but which one?
That you sent me.
Oh, okay. Oh,
as
from
an example.
yes.
And
Oh,
it
I see
didn't
the.
work.
Okay, let me get that project then, so I can look at the logging. I'll actually just get this. Like the logging in my new project seems to be more simple. So I'll use this. Unfortunately, it's private, but I can send you all the code and I'll throw that on screen now.
Okay.
Or whatever needs to be done. So logger get. Yeah, I do use logger.get logger. Okay, so logger.get. I guess it depends on your import. Let me try changing your imports around. Because you might be importing a different version or a different kind of, so I'm just going to quickly check that. XML. Commons.io, where is this? Commons.io. Okay, I imagine it's commons.io because that's usually the kind of Apache library we're using. Sorry about the noise outside. Dependency. Let's use this too. Which logger is this? I do get logger. Then what do I call this logger in this project? Let me just copy out all of the code. That'll actually make it simpler. So this is the code from another project for setting up a logger. But I have this in its own class, so I just, for example, I can send you this code, log util. Why am I adding this to your Git? I don't want to touch it. There we go. So it needs to be static. I'll try and keep this a bit simpler but yeah, like right now that's working. So logger.getLogger is working. Again, I don't want to go too far in depth into logging because I haven't got anything prepared for that. But this, yeah, this is using the Java library rather than the Apache one. So maybe that was one of your issues. Where was your log? Let me just reset everything quickly. Okay. If I get rid of this, then I import the Java logger. Name. There we go. So it was just you were importing a different kind of logger, basically. So when we import the simple Java util logger, which you actually don't need a Maven import for, it's all working. So obviously you can use whatever logging library you want, but you were trying to set up an Apache logger using the way of doing it in Java, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I can find a decent tutorial on logging for you if that's something you're interested in, because that seems to be something you're interested in. I think it's a great addition. It's an essential thing in a Spring Boot, so I'll get around to it anyway. But okay, anything else you want to?
Yes, of course. Now I'll try to what does this mean?
Git GUI. Oh, I don't use Git GUI, so this is a little bit I'm completely hopeless. I only use the command line with this. Updating Git index. I can't help you here, unfortunately. If you want to open up the command line, I can definitely help you. But with GUI tools,
I understand. Okay, then one more issue about starting Spring Boot.
Yes.
This is parameters.
So we shouldn't. I don't know if we need any parameters to start a Spring Boot.
Yes, this is not about parameters. Parameters was about. Okay, what does this mean?
Country required bean type of java.string could not be found. Okay. Okay. Can you go to country? Actually, I can do that as well. Oh, you've got component on country. That's why it's you see this tag of component. When you added component onto it, you're telling Spring Boot to try to analyze it in some way. But country isn't a component, so we can just get rid of that component, and then that issue should go away.
And then we will get another problem.
Okay. No, it's booted.
Yes, it works. It works.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And
So.
Oh, it works. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I will talk to you in a few days, and I'll answer emails until then. Just let me know how you're getting on when you've got questions. I'll get to them. I usually do them. I'll maybe look at them once a day. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and keep them kind of short, ideally, and I'll try and squeeze in sort of 10 or 15 minutes to answer those whenever necessary. Okay. Have a great evening.
Yes. Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Goodbye.